Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at a brand new 2025 release from guitarist, composer and bandleader Wolfgang Muthspiel, and this is his newest recording for ECM Records, Tokyo. So Tokyo marks the first time since 2023's Dance of the Elders that Wolfgang Muthspiel has recorded and released an album featuring new material. And we see Wolfgang Muthspiel has returned to the trio format once again with his current rhythm section comprised of bassist Scott Colley and drummer and longtime collaborator Brian Blade. And Tokyo marks the third album that this current iteration of Wolfgang Muthspiel Trio has put out, and for my money, Tokyo could very well be Wolfgang Muthspiel's best album yet, and that's saying a lot, especially when you look at how much incredible music Wolfgang Muthspiel has put out, not just in his career, but for the ECM label over this past decade. You know, he has done so much great albums, but for my money, this one could very well be his strongest and most ambitious album to date. And, you know, there's something about this album. I was listening to this earlier. It's so good, and it features some of Wolfgang Muthspiel's most melodic and beautiful playing you will ever hear. And when you've got an incredible rhythm section comprised of Scott Colley and Brian Blade, you know magic is going to happen. So Tokyo marks Scott Colley's third appearance on a Wolfgang Muthspiel ECM album, and Tokyo also marks Brian Blade's fifth appearance on a Wolfgang Muthspiel album, as he's played on virtually all of Wolfgang Muthspiel's ECM releases, with the exception of one. And as we all know, Wolfgang Muthspiel and Brian Blade's association spans over 2+ decades, and they've played together in many different situations and configurations. And of course, as we all know, they put out two excellent collaborative albums back in the early 2000s. So Wolfgang Muthspiel and Brian Blade know each other very well. They've been playing together for a really long time, and the way they play together is almost very telepathic. They start and finish each other's musical sentences. And Scott Colley, he's just absolutely rock solid. And Tokyo features some of his most haunting and best bass work of his career. And that's saying a lot as well, especially as Scott Colley has done so much incredible stuff playing and collaborating with so many different artists. But Wolfgang Muthspiel, Scott Colley, and Brian Blade together as a trio have never sounded better. They sound really tight and very cohesive as a unit, and each musician gets to shine, and they give each other a lot of space to solo and breathe, and it really shows in the music. It really does. And some of the material that's featured on Tokyo is some of Wolfgang Muthspiel's most melodic and incredible writing that he has put out in his career, and that's saying a lot, especially when Wolfgang Muthspiel has a career that spans almost 4 decades, and he's done so many different things, and he's made so much great music. But he really is at his peak with this album and with this trio that he has been leading for quite some time. So unbelievable stuff here. So let's have a quick look, shall we? So there is the compositions, and there is the trio. So there's Wolfgang Muthspiel, Scott Colley, and Brian Blade. So most of the compositions are written and composed by Wolfgang Muthspiel, with the exception of two tracks. One written by the legendary Keith Jarrett, and another written by the late great Paul Motion. And I was listening to this album in preparation for this, and I can hear a lot of influences of different guitarists. I can hear a bit of Pat Metheny in here. I can hear a bit of John Abercrombie. I can hear a bit of John Scofield. I also hear quite a lot of Ralph Towner, which is no surprise, especially as Wolfgang Muthspiel has collaborated with Ralph Towner in the past. But, it's not just paying homage to all these great guitarists. Wolfgang Muthspiel takes those influences and makes it his own. So he doesn't try to copy or emulate those guys. He has his own unique voice. And when you listen to this album, you know straight away it's Wolfgang Muthspiel because he has a very unique way of playing and composing. And some of Wolfgang Muthspiel's playing is almost classical like, especially when he's playing acoustic guitar. He's got an almost classical chamber approach to the way he plays his music, and he gets to rip it up a little bit on electric guitar. You get to hear him using a bit of distortion, some effects to really give him that red hot fuzz sound, and it's just incredible. It's an incredible album from top to bottom. So we got the first track, Lisbon Stomp by Keith Jarrett, which is absolutely beautiful. Then we got Pradilla, another great track as well. Flight, which sounds Aldini at his best, absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favourite tracks from this album. Then we got Roll, which is excellent. Krista's Dream is excellent. Diminished and Augmented is great. Traversia is excellent. Strumming is great. Willie You Wait is great, and Abacus is excellent. Every track on this album is tremendous. Top to bottom, it's just remarkably strong and very enjoyable. It's a very laid back album, but at the same time, it's really enjoyable. And the standout tracks for me are Flight, Krista's Dream, Diminished and Augmented, Strumming, and Abacus. But the whole album, from top to bottom, is excellent. And as I mentioned earlier, for my money, this could very well be Wolfgang Muthspiel's best album yet. He's on top form, playing electric and acoustic guitars. Scott Colley is just rock solid on acoustic bass, and he delivers some excellent solos. And Brian Blade, he's just one of the greatest drummers of all time, and he just knows how to make anything and everything around him sound excellent. And he really brings out the best in both Muthspiel and Coley, and he's the perfect drummer for a guitar trio. It doesn't get any better than Brian Blade, and it doesn't get any better than Wolfgang Muthspiel, Scott Colley, and Brian Blade. These three musicians have been playing together for a really long time now, and they just continue to get better and better. So there you have it, Wolfgang Muthspiel Tokyo, one of the best albums of 2025, and for my money, probably Wolfgang Muthspiel's best album yet. It's absolutely excellent and highly recommended for all guitar trio fans. So there you have it, Wolfgang Muthspiel Tokyo. Absolutely love this one. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite track from Wolfgang Muthspiel Tokyo? Is it Lisbon Stomp, Pradilla, Flight, Roll, Krista's Dream, Diminished and Augmented, Traversia, Strumming, Willie You Wait, or Abacus? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.